Losers finals will be a best of 5, and we're starting on Tower Control Hagglefish Market. Actually, not the Ink Brush coming out for Robbe. It's the Luna Neo. What is that weapon kit again? It's got Fizzy and Stamper. So we've got a double Fizzy Bomb composition coming out of Robbe and Tomodachi.
Yeah, this is a really interesting choice, and one other thing we should note here is also the special restrictions on top of the weapon restrictions mean that sometimes you have to switch off a more natural weapon for you in order to play something else. There doesn't seem to be any contest for a whale, so I think this is just simply something that they've got cooked up that they like. This is a classic way to play the Luna. Throw the sub, wait until you can go forward and attack, and hope that the rest of the team can hold on in the meantime. But of course, a very difficult task to do against a team like NFTWin.
Oh, but already able to find some value off of that Ultra Stamp. Bagel goes down, and now this paves the way for Robbe and Tomodachi to start moving on in, and we'll see what all they can do. But one of the things I'm looking out for is where they're getting their chip damage in from, because that's one thing that, Seafoam was actually scrimming for this, and I noticed that they were complaining that they didn't have as much chip damage as they were expecting, given the fact that they weren't allowed to use so many burst bombs. So I imagine the Fizzy, the indirects from the Luna Blaster, all of these things might pair together, and now Robbe's going in on this Ultra Stamp here. Let's talk about a little bit more damage coming out onto the enemy team, and going to be able to get a few for the road here, but looks like the rest of the team is going to end up faltering there, and so this tower will just hit the second checkpoint before it retreats back to neutral, but Kyo is already storming forward on that wiper.
Yeah, some very explosive plays to break through here, and if you're unfamiliar with competitive Splatoon, a lot of time on some of these tower control maps, you see big stalemates of teams throwing their sub-weapons around, and it takes a special or some sort of unexpected play to work through it. You can either do it that way or a more tried and true way. You see finally now a real offensive coming out here from NFTWin. Ice moved up here as well. They're going to immediately pick out where Takamon goes. Biscuit running straight forward, a whole plethora of targets to go after. Take a look at this K-Bot with Takamon down. That's really their only range. The Booyah Bomb timely. The push is not yet done.
Push is not yet done. They're going to continue to try to extend their lead and, in fact, try to go past the second checkpoint. Now, Biscuit up in the air with this Booyah Bomb. Ice jumps back in on this Nautilus, that mobile Nautilus, and that allows Biscuit to go back in again. It's a 3-down situation for Robbe and Tomodachi. It's 0 against the world, and this time he's going to go down there as well. Looks like Kyo's going to get taken out. Now 2 down, but it doesn't matter. The Crab Tank on the tower to ride to victory, and NFTWin is going to take game 1.
Ah, man. It's like all these players have played together before, you know? It's almost as if that synergy that they've pieced together, it's beautiful to watch, right? And when you're watching one player, you don't always get the full picture of how they're communicating, how they're attacking, how they are slowly but surely spreading about and taking space, not simply putting their own paint down, but the area that they control with the range of their weapons, with their subs, with their specials. That's what it looks like, and I mean, folks, we know that tower control on Hagglefish can be a very snowball-heavy map, and that's why earlier K-Bot pointed out, hey, stopping it at the second checkpoint, not too shabby, honestly, because so often in Splatoon 3, and certainly in Splatoon 3's iteration of tower control, all it takes is a couple of missteps, and suddenly you are staring at the barrel.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, anytime that you can continue to keep up that aggression, continue to keep up that tempo, even if that tower is, moving at its little, ice cream truck jingle of a pace, you're still able to keep up a little bit more of that presence. You're still able to keep up. And the second that you can continue being a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more in your opponent's face in areas and on angles that they're not expecting, you're going to find yourselves at an advantage more times than not. And that's exactly why we see things start snowballing out of control. But now, Nine, we've got to get ourselves in the mindset of Robbe and Tomodachi, because now they've got the opportunity to go for a counter pick here. That's right, folks. We are in counter picks. We've been in counter picks all day here, of course. So, lots of options here for Robbe and Tomodachi, but what do you think they want to try to do here? Are they going to go for something that allows Robbe to go back over to this brush?
That's a really interesting question, because oftentimes the role of a brush, especially in this current iteration of Splatoon 3, is it wants to take aggro. It wants you to look that way to fire. It wants 2 of you to fight it every time that it takes an engagement. If it takes 2 people to take down the brush, that means your teammates can move in, capitalize, play a pseudo 3v2, but that's not always available depending on the map, and that's why Of course, we knew we were going to go to splat zones here, and you see, well, I guess maybe you don't see it, but we see it. Robbe is one of the last players to lock in the weapon at this point. So I would say if there's ever a time to break it out, it's now. You don't have that many games to experiment with it, and if you wanted Luna for tower control, I wouldn't blame you, but now with splat zones, we might see a return to the tried and true.
And, the other thing here, that if that ink brush is able to actually get in, it can be pesky, right? If it's enabled by some of the other, weapons that we're seeing, maybe there's an opportunity for it to start going in, start going behind enemy lines, and start wrecking a little bit of havoc. Watch out to see if Robbe ends up going for those kinds of plays on the behalf of Robbe and Tomodachi. And now we see an additional comp change as well, with Takabon over to this Flingza roller here, 9, but there's not many static targets on the other team for this Flingza.
No, they're really hoping to use this to create, as you noted there, just enough space to get the ink brush into the positions where it can go and make some things happen. And immediately, Robbe just immediately running through. Let's get that QR active here, and now we can actually start to play the game. The quick respawn, such a powerful tool to utilize if you know that your job is to go and engage. And for the time being, it appears they were at least able to do that. It's going to be a lead here. They haven't really taken out that many members of NFTWin, but at the very least, they've given themselves a real opportunity to get stationed. And as some more trades go down, Biscuit being a huge pick at the end of this, Robbe and Tomodachi, hold on, wipeout!
Well done there. Again, largely off the back of Robbe just charging forward and buying enough space for the rest of the team to come on back through and take care of business. You saw all of that chip damage additionally piling up on the behalf of Robbe and Tomodachi, especially for Zero playing Splash right now, just able to sit back, throw those burst bombs, and now has another crab tank at his disposal to start charging forward here, and continues to pair up with Robbe's Brush, who's continuing to cause havoc on the far side of the map. And they're still able to find this hold here with another nice one there onto Kyo. And just 27 ticks of the timer here left to go before they take this game.
Yeah, you get the sense that they've got one more opportunity here to make it work. That's one special out. Robbe being down means that they got the annoyance out of the way early on here. Can they fight their way through? That's a splash. That's almost all the paint that is gone right there. Can they move forward? Zerus moves up and was able to take one. They jumped Robbe back in, but it's Bagel taking both of them out. Not a shot missed. They still have to outpaint a Flingza, which is not as easy as it looks. And finally, they do. Bagel making the play that had to be made at the end of the game, positioning properly, but that was full-on desperation.
It absolutely was. One thing doesn't go your way for NFTWin, and that's GG. The game's over, and it's go next. But nonetheless, they're able to take back, apply that penalty, but now they're going 2 down. It's going to be the quick collapse here as Bagel's going to quit very quickly get jumped on. And now we're going to start to see Robbe and Tomodachi move forward. Now Zero's going to get caught off guard. Now you can't quite go that fast there, buddy. Slow down for a moment. Let's see what's going on here. And now we're going to start to see these trades back and forth as both these teams are trying to claw back the zone from one another. But it looks like Robbe and Tomodachi are the next to stabilize.
Yeah, and this is what we're going to see over and over. You see the game plan. Takabon sits on that side, paints over anybody who's trying to take that portion of the zone. Zers moves over on this side and simply makes sure that nobody can take box for free. That's what they're going to try to do, and it takes specials to dislodge them. Robbe's happy to run forward and fight, and Zero never saw a fight he didn't want to take. So you get the idea. Another 3 down. Ice moving away is basically the icing on the cake, if you will. Biscuit is going to try to make it happen. I've seen him 1v4 before, but it's not going to happen this time. And an emphatic response from Robbe and Tomodachi here in game number 2.
Shockingly, the amount of control that Robbe and Tomodachi had, because they had these, more supportive style weapons, it didn't actually feel like Zero was playing that aggressive. You comment, Zero normally the one to go for broke, but nonetheless, able to sit back, play a little bit more calm and collected, throw those burst bombs in, pair up with that crab tank as well, and then that enables Zers to take over that other stack on the other side. It enables the Flingza roller to play pretty passively and further back, and then Robbe, of course, to dive in, be the disruptor, be the one that's trying to control the pace of the game and saying, hey, look at me, I'm over here, the zone isn't important, you can ignore that for a little while. But in reality, They can't, right? They have to start taking a little bit more care towards that objective. And the reality was that even in the times when NFTWin had the opportunity to get set up, they didn't have that aggressive presence. They didn't have that pressure that was building up to try to disrupt the game plan for Robbe and Tomodachi. But now, of course, we're heading to their counter pick, that is NFTWin's, and it'll be Rainmaker Undertow.
Yeah, and for those of you who didn't see the earlier set, NFTWin versus Kings, this was the dominant game. This was the time that NFTWin looked as though they simply couldn't be beat. They got an incredible push early on the back of a couple fights that went their way, but more likely simply them attacking in waves, staggering special, staggering spawn, and then simply playing defense as well as they could and not cracking under some of the strongest pressure that this game has. So not at all surprised to see this as the counter pick, but now I'm wondering what we're going to see here from Robbe and Tomodachi here, because we again noted earlier that Zero and Zers could lock in Splash and Machine for the rest of this tournament and nobody would bat an eye. But Robbe is the one who has a stable of weapons to be played. And we don't see a ton of brush on Rainmaker. We simply don't.
I mean, we don't see a ton of brush on anything, let alone on Rainmaker in particular. But I mean, look, if you're Robbe, right, I have to imagine if you're picking between the last two weapons you played, you're probably opting for the brush here, right? You still want to play a little bit more aggressive. There might be a few angles that would be nice to hit with the blaster, but nonetheless, brush is the lock-in coming in for Robbe. And indeed, we're seeing the Flingza come back out as well here for Takobon there on Robbe and Tomodachi. Same composition though, coming in from NFTWin. They're sticking with what they know and trying their best with this, but again, have to see a little bit more aggressive play out of them.
Yeah, and certainly the mode is going to lend itself to it. Oftentimes in Rainmaker, you'll see a joust or two here happen at the start. The first crab going to go out, and Ice, as he so often does, waits, builds the charge behind an obstacle so that when he fires at the enemy, there's simply nothing left to do about it. They have the fire rate advantage. They're going to melt through anything. Robbe going ahead and grabbing it. I thought there was maybe an opportunity to get a pick there. Probably didn't identify where the player was. Simply opted to try to stall the game. Sometimes that is all you can do. But look at this. Two specials going right for it. They're going to break through. And I'm actually stunned that they were able to get Ice. Robbe moving behind. Does get to a full wipe there. Giving up that first checkpoint, though. A very, very difficult pill to swallow when you're only 1 minute into the game.
Certainly the case, but nonetheless, I mean, able to stop that Rainmaker, right? There's a chance, nonetheless. If you're able to stop it there at that first checkpoint, it does mean that they have to find their own way back to this first check, and we're already seeing NFTWin. They're set up here, but maybe not for long. That crab tank's going to go down. Biscuit's forced to move in, but no, the Rainmaker dunk doesn't quite come through in time to clear past that checkpoint. Zero's still around and in position, allowing for the jump to come in from Takobon here as well, but without Robbe in very high position here, they're going to be forced to give away the Rainmaker shield burst to the enemy team, trying to play a little bit more passively. And now here comes Robbe coming up for the flank, but we'll see if he's able to find much value out of this given how far back the rest of his team is. Killer Whale comes out, the NFTWin calls him out and is able to take him out, but now has that opened the window of opportunity for the rest of this to come through. Looks like perhaps the case. 2 versus 2 around this Rainmaker. Biscuit goes up with a Booyah Bomb. We're seeing Takobon go in full aggro on the Flingza Roller. Is going to get taken down for the work here, but nonetheless, that checkpoint will fall critically there. At least they get past that checkpoint. Even if they end up going down here, it's what they came for.
It is what they came for, but there were so many moments. We said earlier where NFTWin could have lost a game very early on. Once again, so much pressure coming at them, and they just barely navigate it in time to stop a push from happening. Again, you saw how quickly they moved back to take care of Robbe. If Robbe breaks through on that push, that might be the end of the game. Wow. Here, they finally get it into a good position, and immediately they go down. Kyo is going to at least try to slow them down and make sure that the push can't truly start. Yeah, Kyo's still back there. You've got a ticking timer before Kyo gets after you. They finally do take Kyo down. But again, K-Bot, that gave the other members enough time to at least move up. Again, they got a special out in time, and they're holding on to this lead just barely.
Yeah, but now actually it's going to falter this time around as Robbe is able to go in, pick up that Rainmaker, and dash forward for the last few points on the board. It's the wipeout that comes through, but down to the 31-point mark here for Robbe and Tomodachi. It's NFTWin that's once again going to have to come up with something, but hold that thought because they've got 2 specials online of their own. Of course, Rainmaker can't pop its own special, and now they're going to be looking to take it up this left side, but Zero dives on top of it with nobody else around to help guard this Rainmaker. NFTWin's going to go down as Takabon comes up with a few there paired with the teammate. What in the world was that hold?
We don't know. The camera was away, and look, Zero taking the dive there, I thought, all right, that's an admirable play. You're off balance here. You're simply trying to slow things down so the rest of your team can get in position. And no, it turns out the rest of the team had already eliminated the entirety of NFTWin. A stunning counterattack. They're not waiting, not getting set up, simply moving forward there. And certainly you wouldn't expect a Flings-a-Roller of all weapons to be doing it with their main weapon on the front line, but gonna continue to fight forward now. An extended fight in mid here. If NFTWin goes down here, they're really gonna be in a horrible spot. Kyo goes down, another wipeout. Oh my, I've never seen them go down at this pace.
Zer's now charging forward, just a few ticks left on this Rainmaker here, so the Rainmaker will burst in just a moment, but it gets taken out nonetheless here. And now NFTWin put back at their own base. They've got to go back to the other side of the map to try to have a chance at this game here. But Zero is going to be able to take out Kyo there. They're going to be 1 man down, and they might not have another opportunity to come on back with just how much map control and area control that Robbe and Tomodachi has had. They've been able to play around what they're doing so well so far in this event. And now, 20 seconds left. NFTWin's got to come up with something.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at that. The patience to wait on when Robbe was there to use the missiles. They might have been a little too patient. Takabon ran forward and got it. Got 2! Unbelievable. It's a wipeout here. They're going to have an opportunity, but Biscuit's going to have 1 opportunity to maybe take 1 player out here. Instead, opts to back up, wait for the jump, and it was just too much time. It allowed too many bombs to come forward to take it out. And unbelievably on their own counter pick, NFTWin gets outpaced, outplayed, and are now 1 game away from losing in this tournament.
I want to comment, though, about that outpacing, right? Because in a lot of cases, you look at that and you go, okay, well, what possibly was it that Robbe and Tomodachi was doing incredibly well? They were utilizing the amount of space that they had, and they were adapting to where their opponents were most of the time, right? If they notice that they've got 1 member or 2 members on one side, they're going to try to attack the other side of the map, right? Everyone tries charging forward, trying to find a 3v1 or something of that nature, especially with an ink brush on your team being able to walk in. But the other thing that was perhaps most surprising to me that I didn't see coming at all was how aggressive Takabon got on that Flings-a-Roller. Are you kidding me? Normally, we see that Flings-a-Roller play much more passively, much more of a missile farming thing, but Takabon was not afraid to go in and ruffle some feathers there, Nine, which is rather shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of burying the lead here. If Takabon doesn't get that pick on the Rainmaker at the very end, the game probably flips right then and there.
Yeah.
They were being outpaced for the entire game, but so often as we see in Rainmaker, it's just, well, all right, you've outpaced us the entire game. Now can you be patient and disciplined on your defense? And they had 3 members down. The fabled wipeout did show up on screen, but that was only after Takabon had gotten the Rainmaker and 1 other member on top of it. And you know, that's one of the little subtleties of this game is when you take a dive at the Rainmaker, if you get the Rainmaker when they haven't shot, of course, they're going to go down, the shield is going to pop up, and suddenly there's a ton of enemy ink right there because, you know, the Rainmaker just got taken out. I think it means that sometimes multi-kills happen so much more often around the Rainmaker than we really know.
Mm-hmm. Well, in any event, NFTWin has 1 counter pick left, and they've got to make it here happen on Clamblitz Brinewater Springs. We are getting straight on ahead into the game and a little bit of composition change to boot. Bagel going over to this mini here, opting for that big bubbler, probably to buy a little bit of space underneath the basket, but still, the composition sticks here on the side of Robbe and Tomodachi. They found something that works here with Robbe on this brush and Takabon on this fling.
Yeah, it's so annoying here, and you can see Robbe moves forward, jumps back, and then Zero moves forward in that spot there. All the while, Zer's just trying to hold mid here as Robbe moves over. There's a fight for their lives happening on the left side of the map at this point, and it does look, for the time being, as though NFTWin is going to get the better of it thus far. But again, both sides opting to play it a little bit slow here at the start. We've, of course, said it ad nauseum at this point, but this is not a map where you want to let up your side because there's so much easy access to the clam spawns, and of course, so many ways that you can attack the opponent as they're coming out of spawn.
Interestingly, though, with very few backlines on that match, it seems like NFTWin was able to take a little bit of the space into mid because Robbe and Tomodachi was playing so passively. You saw Biscuit get up there, get a cheeky one on Takabon, rotate back into mid, find one here as well, and now we're starting to see them charge forward to this basket. They've got this big bubbler as well online, and Bagel just is not quite going to be able to get that second power clam in, thanks to the fact that Zero's crab tank was there, but nonetheless, that power clam will eventually come through. Only down to the 57-point mark. Maybe doesn't feel like we're going to see a lot more out of this, but there's still plenty of purple ink in this area. No, okay. They're going to back on away here, given the fact that Kyo was the one to go down, but nonetheless, got a few points to the board there early on here, and we'll see if there's a response here, because the other thing about this 9 is that there aren't many flanking angles for Robbe to go on this brush.
We were of the same mind right there. That's the immediate thing that has jumped out to me about this game is Robbe is moving and grooving, but is he really threatening here? Yeah, he can go on this side, but, you know, again, outraged by everything the opponent has here. If you drop and the opponent knows that you're coming there, it really neutralizes what the brush is trying to do. You've got some bombs, you can kind of poke a little bit with your whale, but certainly not an undertow spillway that we're playing on in this one.
Certainly not the case. I mean, again, with that very, it's a, you know, yeah, sure, it's a bend, but really there's only one path into the basket, right? You don't have a lot of an opportunity to infiltrate, play the back line sort of a thing, but now Biscuit gets a max range splat there. On to Takabon is looking for a few more. Looks like two of the members of NFTWin in the process going to go down here, leaving only Robbe up, who's going to try to prevent this basket from going down, but it looks like it's not going to happen this time around. Now Ice pops this crab tank as well to continue to keep the members of Robbe and Tomodachi back. It's still 2 down for them, and NFTWin still has free reign to throw in as many clams as they can. There's still a few more sitting there in front of the basket. I think Bagel's going to be able to pick some of them up and throw them in. We're now seeing Ice continue to keep up this pressure here as well. Wasn't taken out on this crab tank and still put in a little bit of presence with this main weapon. Takabon trying to come up with the angle, but it doesn't matter. Ice takes it out. That's the shooter way right there. And now 19 ticks at a time. You're seeing the clams continue to get thrown over the wall. Biscuit trying to throw a few more in, but now finally it's going to get taken down. It's a 2-down situation for NFTWin, and the push will stall there. Now down to 13 points. That is, what, 87 unanswered for NFTWin.
Yeah, and all of these pushes that they're putting in are artisans pushes here. They simply move forward a little jab, let's go back, toss another clam in, rotate a special, I've got a special, I'm on left, I hit one with a burst bomb. And this is why there's no opportunity for the chaos, for the uncertainty that Robbe and Tomodachi have thrived in here, because once you get into a pushing scenario, your eyes are all on one spot, and the opponent only has one spot to come out. That's the brine water way. They are executing it perfectly, and again, unless they have an epic monumental collapse, they are looking to be in control as we enter the last minute of the game.
And look what NFTWin is doing right now, right? They're only really trying to hold this one area where the enemy team can come in from. They're not really pushing into mid. Okay, Kyo is, but Kyo is playing the QR wiper that can basically do whatever he wants. And as far as Kyo's concerned, if he gets trades, it's a good thing for NFTWin at this stage in the game. 45 seconds here left to go, and still mid is almost completely purple. But NFTWin probably not going to push this unless they feel 100% confident they're going for this, because now they see Takabon on this side, trying to cause a little bit of a threat here, but actually it's going to be Takabon jumping away because they've got to regroup. Biscuit looks like he was able to infiltrate there towards the front lines, and now jumping away again, back to spawn. It's effectively now a 3-down situation, 2 power clams online here, and NFTWin might just be looking for the dagger right now. Bagel going to get taken out in the process, but this grab tank still generating enough presence here. Again, you're noting they're not actually throwing that power clam in. They're not going for broke because they'd rather keep their lives up in case Robbe and Tomodachi is able to come on back with this one, but they don't have a power clam on the map. Overtime will not sound. The whistle will blow, and we're heading to another game 5, 9.
Another game 5, and you know, the top 3 teams make our top 3 seeds at the end of it, and you love to see it, and you love when those teams actually battle it out with each other like the top 3 seeds are supposed to. And even our 4th seed that was Last Resort took our 1 seed to a game 5 as well, as those of you who have been here the entire time well know. And it's such a pleasure. This is why we compete. This is why this format exists, so that we get to see some variance here in our Game 5 sets, because, you know, Game 5 with 6 crabs versus Game 5 with only 2 crabs, it does hit a little differently, but oh man, we finally have reached the counter pick, and it's been a minute since we've had to see a counter pick come out of Robbe and Tomodachi. But we hope for you at home, we've sort of laid out the blueprint of what they're looking for, and when they have been the strongest, it's when they can create that chaos, when they can separate members, and when they can use the global special that Takabon has with those missiles to assist teammates and then move up as necessary. A lot of options on the table.
A lot of options on the table here, and we'll see what they come through with, as I believe the map has been locked in. It'll be Tower Control Museum di Alfonsino here.
Of course. Again?
Again, we're heading back. It's Game 5. Here we go. But again, if Rob's able to infiltrate the enemy plat, the enemy side of the map where all those spinners are, probably a lot of havoc's gonna ensue, right? On the flip side of that, if we're seeing someone like Kyo on that wiper actually move in to the other side, perhaps something will change there. But it's Game 5, folks. Strap in. I lied. Robbe is back on this Luna Blaster once more for tower control, and Takabon over to the Squiffer. We'll see what this one has in store for us.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Takabon is a top Japanese Squiffer, maybe the top Japanese Squiffer here. It's not a long list, so this is a comfort pick, but boy, oh boy, does it not have the same staying power as some of the other weapons here. Zero's going to use this crab from back here out of necessity just to try to slow the other team down, slow their advance down. Not going to be able to slow the tower, but at least make sure there aren't as many people to attack. The entire time, though, Kyo patiently waiting and attacking in K-Bot. This is looking nasty already. Not like this.
Not like this. Robbe and Tomodachi looks like they're playing a little anxiously now. All of a sudden, they're on their heels now as the rest of NFTWin are continuing to charge forward. Back at this final checkpoint here, Ice is going to jump off to dodge a Puyo Bomb, but another Puyo Bomb comes out for NFTWin. 1-for-1 trade. Now Ice is going to be looking for Robbe, who looks like he dropped off of flat. Takabon trying to get a cheeky little shot there with that sweeper, but it's not going to happen this time around. Ice dives back forward, looking for something here, able to find a trade on the Takabon. 2 for 2, the bubbler's on top of the tower. Kyo's looking to ride this one to victory here, and now there's just the ultra stamp on top of the tower. Robbe's able to take him out. Down to the 6-point mark is where it will stop for NFTWin. Oh my goodness, hanging on by a thread here is Robbe and Tomodachi.
Oh, and it is not a big threat either, because all that time the others were able to respawn. Now Biscuit is forward, the last player that you want to see running forward with a head full of steam on this machine. Again, they had to pop 2 specials just to stop Biscuit from getting onto plat, and now the worst part is they have no idea where Biscuit is. Can they jump down? Can they move out?
Oh,
the
no.
answer was no. It was me the entire time, and I will make you pay. Takes one out. Zero narrowly managing to win the 1v1 and at least give them mid. But 6 is going to be a powerful mark to hit, and we're going to need to see almost a miracle with 3 minutes left in this game.
But they're starting to regroup here. Now, Ice versus Zeres, that's going to be a trade here. Zero on this crab tank, trying to enable some more pushing power here. And Takabon actually going to be the furthest one forward on this Quiver. Looking to sniff out where the members of NFTWin might be coming in from. Throwing this point sensor there, trying to find and locate some of these members. Looks like he's found a few, but of course with Biscuit up in the Puyo Bomb, throwing that right towards that spinner, it's going to mean that a lot of the team has to try to retreat here. And all of a sudden, the position might be compromised. Nobody's running the tower right now for Robbe and Tomodachi, as we're starting to see plenty of bluing start to come forward here. We're seeing Ice go for the flank angle, but it's going to get caught out by the Puyo Bomb here. Looks like now it's going to be a 3-down situation. There's the wipeout. Robbe and Tomodachi not going to be able to fight it this time around, but there's still 2 minutes left, 9, and there was a lot of good going for them there.
There was, but I can't help but feel as though there was some meat left on the bone for that one. You saw maybe a little bit of hesitation there from Takabon, not entirely sure where to go by the time he had opted to move up to the spinner. The other members had already picked him out, and he couldn't get set up there, and I don't think there was the attack that was coming through on the other side. And more importantly, they did not get through the final checkpoint, which means that they are going to have one more that they have to get through if they want to even equalize this score. It appears they've done a decent job on the defense here, but I think that's more because NFTWin was willing to move back, keep their lives, and then counterattack if necessary as Kyo slashes through that crab.
Okay, Takobon able to find one here, but the one thing that I'm noticing is still how much blue ink is on the map right now. With the compositional change here, 9, it feels like Robbe and Tomodachi don't actually have a lot of that map presence. That's allowing plenty of these blue puddles for players like Kyo, players like Biscuit, even Ice on occasion, to start sharking up with Ninja Squid, or even just a slow swim speed, and start to surprise their opponents. And causing that chaos and finding even trades at this point is exactly what they want to do to continue to try to stall this game out. Now, finally, Robbe and Tomodachi seems like they're clearing out mid to a decent degree, and they're starting to charge forward towards the plat, but Kyo's coming in from behind. They've got to be careful here.
Yep, and when will he opt to give up his position? He goes forward and slashes. Okay, Takobon definitely knows now. Will they be able to take out Kyo, or will Kyo be able to get one? Gets through Robbe. That wasn't even the initial target. Takobon will close the door on that one. But again, 2 down now. This push is all but done at this point. Takobon has to move all the way back. Simply going to try to make sure that Kyo can't come in again. Fires, misses the initial shot, gets a second one. Takobon doesn't miss too often. But again, how do they break through at this point? They're going to need to use their special simply to get up onto plat, and there's a whole lot more that they're going to have to do outside of that.
Takobon going to be the first one to step up there, though. Looking for an entry pick here on the Squiffer. Trying to find one on the Biscuit. Now Bagel, perhaps, for the Bubblers. Dueling are each going to go up here. Trying to stall that one out. Throwing the point sensor, trying to find something here. But now they're not on tower. Bagel's going to jump on to finish it there. An NFTWin will be the team to punch their ticket to Grands.
Oh, a rematch made in the heavens there. A round of applause to Robbe and Tomodachi. It was going to be so difficult for them to get down to 6. As we noted earlier, they had another checkpoint that they were going to have to work their way through. And once that first bubbler went down from Takobon, a lot of their staying power was gone.